Hi, everyone. I am excited to talk to you guys tonight because these are really my favorite topics to discuss. And it's not every day that I actually get to talk about how they can kind of all integrate with each other. And so, what I really want to discuss is essentially how all of these different aspects of all of these different structures compile together to have a massive play and role into your purpose. And so, if you look into the aspects from an individual perspective, and by aspects, what I'm talking about specifically in this video is astrology, numerology, human design, Enneagram, and archetypes. And so, if you look at these each in their individual identification perspectives, right? From a just from a single standpoint of like, what is astrology? What is numerology? The neat thing is they all are very similar and they have their own individual roles based upon what they have value provided for and what they can give insight to within your life. And the reason why I like to bring this up is because when you compile them and take bits and pieces of every aspect, you can actually create a much more unique system for yourself and allow yourself to see your true purpose and see how different pieces of each puzzle kind of integrate together and play overall into your theme of your life. And so I feel like this is such an important thing to share, especially right now during this difficult time that everybody's going through, because we're all creating a new sense of normal. We're all creating a new sense of purpose. We're all trying to move into higher states. And by tapping into these different areas that you can find knowledge of one's true self, will allow you to fine tune into your true nature and will help you to move into these bigger aspects that you're looking to create and maybe are not really sure where you're headed, right? And so I'm going to segue a little bit and talk about each aspect from an individual perspective so that we can kind of understand how all of the aspects as a whole flow together, as well as how they can serve major purpose from an individual perspective. So, astrology, right? Astrology is the study of movements and positions of celestial objects. And so, what that looks like is when the moon goes through its phases, or when different planets go in different periods of rotation, when they show up in different states and points in relation to our planet. And these different states can trigger different periods of energy. They can trigger positive things and they can trigger negative things. They can trigger specific things that are innate to you based on your own personal astrology, which would be your natal chart, or they can trigger things that would be seen as a more wholesome perspective of how it can impact everybody on the planet. And so when you look at astrology, the key thing is obviously everyone or most people refer to their sun signs, but you also want to have that in-depth natal report because there are all sorts of different aspects that have direct play and direct influence, specifically in uh, individual categories, right? Where they take specific topics and go to a deeper level than just what you can find within a common horoscope that you would look for on Google, for example. And so if you've never had this done, I highly, highly recommend it. And if you want to talk with me in depth about that, we can absolutely do that. Numerology is my next favorite one that I like to talk about because numbers are everywhere, right? Numbers are seen in for right now, right? I'm going live and it's 4 minutes and 44 seconds as I'm saying this to you guys. So, right there would be an aspect of prime numerology. You can take that into perspective of, okay, I'm seeing this three repeating fours. What does that mean from an individual? And then you can also take that from a numerical value of letters and words, names and ideas. And so you could actually find the numerical vibration of not only yourself, but of all the other aspects that are around you, right? So, like, we can find the numerical value of the Conscious Leadership Network, or we can find the numerical value of my business, High Vibe Connection. And when you take numerology into that deeper perspective and integrate it into all of those, what I kind of like to call just general life aspects, it takes the knowledge to a deeper level and allows you to find that higher guidance and that higher intuition and kind of interpret that for your own purpose and your own reading, right? So especially within numerology, you obviously have like the common sets of like your desire number or your love compatibility or relationship number or your career path number. And all of those are generalities and they're phenomenal to have. And if you don't have your own personal set of numerology numbers, I highly recommend getting them. But when you take it one step further like that and really fine tune into the numerological aspects that are all around you, it really becomes a beautiful thing and allows you to become more mindful of the vibrations that are impacting you as a whole, surrounding you, that you may not necessarily think of on a day-to-day basis. And then the next one that I'd like to talk about is human design, right? So human design actually combines some of these different aspects and has really positive, insanely direct insight as far as who you are, because it combines your astrology, it combines I Ching, it combines the Kabbalah, as well as your chakras and even aspects of quantum physics. So that's a lot of different systems all within one space that really owns in and tunes into your energy and how you can plug and play into other people and how their energy impacts you as well. And so when you look at all of these different perspectives, right, we've only talked about 3 different ones that I've brought up. And today I want to talk about 5 things. So from these 3 things, you can see just from having these 3 tools, how expansive that this can become and how direct your aspects can be within your life, which can lead you and fulfill you into steps into your purpose. And having all that information is ultimately a gateway, if you will, to make better decisions or to take higher steps within your life or show up in a different way that maybe you wouldn't think of, or maybe even release different things that you've held or thought about yourself that maybe are just your common innate nature and is something that you need to learn to embrace and love and grow with, right? So the next one that I want to talk about is the Enneagram. So not many people know about the Enneagram, and it's becoming a lot more used within this space, and it's not necessarily something that a lot of people would call a spiritual modality because it's actually a model breaking down the human psyche. So it compiles essentially 9 different types of people that are all interconnected. And what I love about it is that the interconnected aspect really supports, just like human design, how people can plug and play within each other, support each other, or therefore harm each other, dependent upon what their true nature is and how they show up within their true nature. And then the last but not least are the archetypes. And those are specifically created by Carl Jung. And it's an innate psychic disposition that holds themes within your life. And based upon understanding what archetype you might fall into, and a lot of us honestly waver in and out of a couple of them throughout our life, depending on circumstances that we've experienced, different aspects that, like traumas or even how relationships impact us. So we can be very fluid through all of these different things. And to me, that's why it's so important to have all of these different tools, because at one state in your life, numerology might hold a higher value than astrology, for example, or On the flip side, you might be moving into a deeper state of an archetype that reawakens you, opens your eyes, fulfills you, gives you a deeper sense of purpose, or even changes your life path. And so when we combine all of these different things, and the way I recommend doing this is by working with somebody, whether that's different individuals who provide these professional services, so that you have a deep understanding of each individual aspect, or working with somebody who can compile all of them as well, to really be able to learn what the right path is for you in the here and now, as well as how you can use each and every one of these tools moving forward in the future. And so, what I want to share with you is, if any of these topics are topics that you want me to dig deeper on, I would love to do that for you. I'm happy to come on live and share deeper into the perspectives of astrology or numerology or human design or Enneagram or archetypes, or even how they all integrate into each other. And what I'd like to do is, if anybody's up for it and you guys are in the Conscious Leadership Network over on Mighty Networks, I'd love to hear some of your guys' aspects and compare them, compile them, and put the pieces together and see how all of this flows and integrates from a space of serving into your purpose. And so, if you're not already in the Conscious Leadership Network over on Mighty Networks, I highly recommend hopping in there. You'll see me in that space, as well as all of the other hosts that come in on the CLN. And we really would love to share that space with you. And I would really love to connect at that deeper level to talk with you about all of these individual aspects, especially if you're one of those people who are going through this struggle of massive change in your life right now. Maybe you've switched career paths. Maybe you're sitting at home not knowing the next field that you want to get into. Maybe you're looking at a business model and you're trying to make a good decision on if that's the right investment for you, or if it's your turn to move into a space of stepping into your highest self and flowing into harmony and moving towards a greater mission for all of humanity. And if that's something that we can support you with, especially while compiling all of your aspects together to serve you and support your purpose, it just makes the path that much easier. It makes everything make sense faster. And it literally is like having a blueprint that you can refer back and forth to, so that you have a better understanding of, hey, am I doing the right work based upon my true nature, based upon the true natures around me? Am I identifying the different signs that surround me from a numerology perspective? You can take the pieces of the puzzle and kind of separate them apart to identify if there's something that needs to be changed, and then put all the pieces back together and see if that is really what is going to turn the wheel for the direction that you're wanting to head. So I hope that all of this makes sense. I know that some of the topics are a little bit deep and a little more expansive. And like I said, if you guys want to hear me go deep on one specific topic, please feel free, let me know. I'm happy to dive into it. And that's something that I would share with you guys over in the Conscious Leadership Network over on Mighty Network. So if you're not there, please go hop in that space. We would love to see you there. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helped, and I hope that this fulfills a little bit of peace in your path for finding your purpose. Have a good night.